Regular meeting of council for Monday, March 24th to order at 3 p.m. Sharon?
Please note, council meetings are streamed live and recorded on YouTube. Attendees acknowledge that in accordance with Section 17(2) of the Freedom of Information and Protection of Privacy Act, names, addresses, and other details provided when speaking at a council meeting will be publicly shared. Should you have any questions related to the collection or disclosure of personal information, please contact the Legislative and Advisory Services Division for the Town of High River by sending an email to foip@highriver.ca.
Thanks, Sharon. I'll ask for a motion to approve the agenda. Motion from Councillor Kinghorn that council adopt the agenda for this regular council meeting, March 24th, as presented.
Thank you, Mayor Snodgrass. You have the motion.
Thank you. All in favor? Carried. Adoption of previous minutes. I'll ask for a motion from Councillor Walsh that council adopts the March 10th, 2025 regular council meeting minutes as presented.
I'll give you that motion, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. All in favor? Carried. Southern Alberta Pump Track Club is our only delegation today. Chris? Yes. Yep. Come on.
The mic working? There we go. Perfect. Afternoon, councillors. My name is Chris Gardner, and I'm here on behalf of the Southern Alberta Pump Track Club and the Alberta Bicycle Association. The agenda for today's presentation is shown on the next slide, please. I'm excited to be here today to ask for your collaboration in the inaugural Alberta Provincial Pump Track Championship. I'm a firm believer that this event will be mutually beneficial for the town of High River and participants, and in the next 5 minutes, I'll summarize the positive impact this event will contribute to the community. I'm going to make several statements about the impact as well as the economic benefit this will provide. And I could spend definitely more than 5 minutes on each of those topics. So I would just ask that in the interest of time, we'll refer you to the supplemental handout which has been provided and welcome your questions at the end. Next slide, please. The Southern Alberta Pump Track Club, more information is provided to you again in the handout on those pages. And as I mentioned, the presentation is largely based on the economics of the event. And I'm hereby asking for a formal request for council for $5,000 in funding that would go directly towards a host level sponsorship for the 2025 Provincial Championship. And at the end, I will provide a detailed description of where those funds will go. Next slide, please. Pump track racing is extremely accessible. There's really 3 things that participants need: a bike and a helmet, and those are things most kids already have. And the second thing is a track. And High River has really done a fantastic job for the community and provided a really world-class asset. And in addition to that, you have a really significant demographic within close proximity. So in addition to the city of Calgary and Okotoks, which has a strong BMX club, you have an opportunity to showcase that asset and demonstrate to local cyclists that High River really could be a destination for cyclists. I've personally seen firsthand the spirit of community that shines through with these events. And an example of this is in the picture shown above. There's a young girl who's sort of dressed up for her local pump track race. She's wearing a nice sweater there, and she's exchanging a high five with another young competitor. These events really give young youth an opportunity to be as fun or as competitive as they so choose. I'm really hoping that we'll be able to partner and capitalize on contributing to a sense of community pride while promoting competitive sport, health, and wellness, and that partnership will have a direct return to the community. Next slide, please. The next slide summarizes the economics associated with the event. Again, the math that's presented here is further discussed in the supporting handout. Included in that was a cost estimate of the event, which is approximately $23,000. On pages 11, 12, and 15 of the handout, there are several scholarly articles which describe the positive economic return small-scale sporting events provide, which highlight an upwards of $17 for every $1 that's invested. A second study identified that most participants, when they come to these events, spend approximately $144 per day. And in a highly conservative case study from an event last year conducted in Sicamous, BC, it's estimated that at least $9,300 was spent in the community. If you total that up, you have a range of somewhere between $15,000 to $26,000, which are estimated to be spent by participants within the community during this event. Next slide, please. So the return on capital investment, what does your money go towards? So as I mentioned, this would have direct contribution to supporting community health and wellness, as well as the support of a new and growing sport on an asset the town has already invested in. Again, the numbers of $15,000 to $26,000 is the estimated economic impact that would be spent by participants and spectators within the community. And the club has identified somewhere between $6,900 and $7,400 of direct costs of the event that could be spent directly within the community. So that'd be on service providers of signage, food, potential ambulance, medic service, etc. So a $5,000 contribution from council would equal somewhere between $22,000 to $33,000 of direct and indirect economic impact to the community of High River. And I'm really hoping that I can count on your support. Next slide. Lastly, as I mentioned, I wanted to provide a little bit of a synopsis or summary on where the money would be spent. So there are some key elements that really contribute to the professionalism of the event and ultimately experience that youth and competitors would get. A timing system, a sound and PA system, as well as a digital scoreboard really enhance the competitiveness of the event. And then an additional request to utilize the existing washrooms at the local splash park, and if available, some spectator seating, portable barriers, and on-site power to help and offset some of our costs. And in exchange for that return, there would be logo branding on the perimeter, what we call field of view, so that would be within the track, some large banner signage that includes the town of High River as a host tier sponsor. We would include the town and any local press releases, as well as large logo integration, on flyers, poster artwork, and any and all digital and social media assets. And then lastly, each competitor will have a number plate, and there would be small logo branding on all of those plates. That summarizes my presentation here today, and I would open it to any questions from council that they may have.
Thanks, Chris.
Yeah, you're most welcome.
Looks great. the location being High River is definitive, it's chosen, that's where it's going to be?
It is chosen.
Okay.
Yes. We have the location listed on the Alberta Bicycle Association for the provincial championship is still currently listed as TBD, but we do have an agreement with both the ABA and with your Parks Department for that.
Perfect.
Funding being the main barrier to more broadly communicating that location. Yes, sir.
Okay. No, I think it's awesome, and it's a great way for us to show off our pump track and promote the sport itself for sure. Councillor Kinghorn.
Thank you, Mayor Snodgrass. I'd have to concur with your comments. I think this is a great project. My question is around CVAC funding. We do have a group of people that have a fund to do things like this in the community,
okay.
And I'm wondering, have you approached CVAC? Have you talked to them? If it came back through CVAC, of course, I would support it, but I think that's the first step, isn't it? Heather, can you comment?
Yeah, I can comment on that.
Can you have to come up here, please?
So I can comment on that. Unfortunately, the group is based out of Calgary, so they're not able to apply for CVAC because they're not a local organization.
Good point. Further to that, is there not a club here in town that could be backing this? Like, is there not a club over there that operates or anything like that we could do it through CVAC?
Not that I'm aware of, but we can look into that a little bit further in that respect. I know it was a discussion with Jocelyn and Ledge Services because initially there was the thought around CVAC. It just unfortunately, in talking with Jocelyn, they didn't qualify.
Chris, because we have the High River Pump Track Society, right? Like, didn't they form a society when?
So they did. I had originally, when I had initially reached out about using the track as its facility, I had reached out to, there was a published website. However, my understanding is that may have just been established for the fundraising of the actual track, and that there's nobody managing that moving forward.
Michelle?
So we are not disbanded yet, but I don't know. Do I have to go?
We got everybody in the gallery coming today. This is fantastic.
Not why I'm here. So hello.
Hi.
I am actually a member of the Pump Track Committee.
Okay.
So we have not disbanded yet, but we haven't done a lot of work since the fundraising.
Okay.
So we are still a society, and I don't know that the email address has been monitored in quite some time,
Okay.
but I can definitely connect with you
Okay.
to connect with the members if that is something that we need to do to get this going, because I know that we would love that.
Okay.
So,
No, I appreciate that.
yeah.
So why don't we do that as the first step, is get you guys connected. Is it Jeff that's still kind of leading it, Michelle?
Yeah.
Okay, so get Jeff and Chris connected and sort that out, because then the pump track go through CVAC
Right.
to help if you guys agree to partner on this thing. Otherwise, we'll figure out something else, but that would be the best route to go with this. Councillor Kinghorn again?
Sorry, just to follow up, timing.
So we currently have a placeholder for the weekend of September 13th.
Oh, okay, so you got lots of time then to get together and go through the CVAC process. And,
For sure.
And it'll come back to us after CVAC, and
Okay.
away we go. Awesome, thank you.
Yep.
Thanks for coming today.
Worked out perfect, didn't it?
Councillor Jones.
Thanks, Mayor Snodgrass. CVAC does meet on Tuesday. I don't know if it's this week
So
or next week.
hurry.
So if they could meet with Jocelyn, that would make more sense too.
I could be ready for Tuesday.
Councillor Walsh.
Thank you. Thank you for taking the time and coming and sharing all of this with us.
Yes, most certainly.
Enthusiasm for the project. It is sounding a bit of a delay, no go here, do this. I feels like you've got lots of support. And once you get through check the boxes for CVAC, it sounds like a really great event.
No, I appreciate it.
And this is your first of many, I understand?
So we ran 7 events there last year within the Calgary area. This would be the first formal provincial championship. So what that means is sanctioning through the Alberta Bicycle Association, and then the winners of each class would get a jersey similar to professional cycling event. We call it a rainbow jersey, so that's really awarding an official provincial champion.
Oh, that's really great.
Yeah, and I really do think that the asset that you have here is world class. It's the best around for this type of event. So I think was really my main reason for initiating conversations with Heather and the group there, and I think there is real opportunity to move forward here and continue something in the future. So
that's super exciting. Thank you for the accolades to the pump track. It's not something I use.
Yeah, for sure.
Good luck with your event.
Yeah, thank you.
Councillor Barton.
Thanks, Mayor. Thanks, Chris, for coming out. You actually answered my question. I just wanted to know where we stood in Alberta in terms of quality and stuff like that, because I know I worked a little bit with the society, and I know they put a ton of effort. And we all council, we got to experience that too. Like, they put a ton of effort into making it happen. So I'm glad to see that it is one of the premier spots. So.
Yeah, so just to elaborate a little bit further, the builder of that track was a company by the name of Velo Solutions, and they are the marquee constructor as well as the organizer of the World Championships. And their recipe for tracks, both dimensionally and layout, far exceeds some of the other builders. Not to suggest that those tracks are of lesser fun or quality. It's just that Velo Solutions is by far the world-renowned builder. And the length of the track is the longest in the area. So when it comes to a racing, and at least in a provincial championship type setting, you would want to use something with a longer distance, a longer track, just to challenge competitors even more.
Well, that's good to hear. Thanks for your presentation.
Yeah, for sure.
All good. We're all hooked up.
Thank you very much. Appreciate your time. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks very much, Chris. Appreciate it. First reading, bylaw 4644, amending the South High River Area Structure Plan. Sarah?
Yes, thank you, Mayor and Council. The report before you today is for first reading of a bylaw to amend the South High River Area Structure Plan. Town administration received an application to amend this plan to redesignate a portion of the land going from commercial to multifamily residential. Administration has already circulated this application to all relevant external agencies and internal divisions for comments. The piece of land is known as 90 Monteith Drive Southeast. It's 0.53 hectares in size, and it is the piece of land currently vacant that's directly south of the commercial development that includes the Wendy's, and it's west of the development that includes the Calgary Co-op. As part of the application, the applicant provided a justification report to explain why, what their rationale was for wanting to go from commercial to residential. The report includes statements about the slow market uptake on existing commercial opportunities, vacant opportunities in the area. The central location of the site would allow a vibrant and walkable community to take hold there, as well as their intention to provide a diverse housing product for the area, and overall it being a relatively minor change as it is a relatively small site. Administration has no concerns about this application regarding the compliance with the town plan or the land use bylaw. Of course, further review will take place once we receive the development permit, but as it stands, we have no concerns about this redesignation. And administration did receive responses from several agencies. None of the agencies had any concerns. Some of them, we did receive comments from Alberta Health Services, ATCO, Foothills County, and Fortis, Alberta. Like I said, they had no concerns. They did provide some specific advisory comments. For example, AHS provided comments about protecting soil and water from pollution. All of the correspondence was provided to the applicant, so they are fully aware of those comments. Administration recommends that council give first reading of bylaw 4644-2025 and direct administration to organize the public hearing on April 28th, 2025 at 3 p.m. Are there any questions?
Thanks, Sarah. It's just first reading today, but any questions from council? Councillor Kinghorn.
Thank you, Mayor Snodgrass. Sir, it's a good report, by the way. Thank you. I'm looking for exactly where it is. I'm looking at these different maps with color coding and all the rest of it on. And the description's pretty accurate, but I can't quite see it on here on the...
That empty field, that empty chunk straight west of Co-op.
So this is where the Wendy's is.
Addresses do us no good in this town.
The drive-through is, and this is where the Co-op is. So this is First Street. So if you could picture yourself driving south on First Street past the Wendy's, you would see it, and it's just a vacant lot right now.
Where the renewal tent used to be.
Yes, exactly.
The renewal tents. Okay. Okay, thank you. I appreciate that.
That's pretty good, using that as a landmark, Riley. The renewal tent. Remember that. I didn't. Councillor Barton.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Sarah. I'm just wondering if we have to allow for extra time every time that Jamie can't find something on a map. Do we have to allow extra time? The council meeting.
11 meetings left?
You're right.
I'm counting now. No further questions. I'll ask for a motion from Councillor Barton that council give first reading to bylaw 4644-2025 and the council direct administration to schedule the public hearing for April 28, 2025 at 3 p.m.
Yeah, my motion, Mayor.
Thank you. All in favor? Carried. Thanks, Sarah. Thanks for your kind words, Clark. Uh, 2025 rate bylaw for recreation. Craig?
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. The bylaw before you, 4642, is for the 2025 recreation rates. The 2023 rate bylaw is not updated for 2024. It has been reviewed and split into 4 separate bylaws. The general and permits and licenses rate bylaws were approved at the December 9th, 2024 council meeting. A utilities rate bylaw has yet to be presented. Some notable changes from the 2023 recreation rates have been highlighted in the RFD in front of you. For example, in the outdoor rentals. So if you have any questions, please ask.
Thanks, Craig. Any questions from council? It's all pretty self-explanatory. No questions? I'll ask for motions from Councillor Jones that council give first reading of the bylaw 4642, 2025. And that council give second reading to bylaw 4642, 2025, and that all council present give unanimous consent to proceed with third and final reading of bylaw 4642, 2025.
I'll give you that motion, Mayor Snodgrass.
Thank you. All in favor? Carried. I'll ask for a motion from Councillor Nychuk that council give third and final reading to bylaws 4642, 2025. And council authorizes the removal of associated fees, fines, and other charges contained within this bylaw from bylaw 4612, 2023 being the 2023 rate bylaw.
I'll give you that motion, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. All in favor? Carried. Thanks, Craig. Snow and ice control policy updates. Cool.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. Today I have before you the snow and ice control policy 28-106-00. As part of the regular review of this policy, we determined that with the continuous snowfall event that occurred in November, there was no mention of continuous snowfall or service levels within the policy. And so during review, we did actually clean up some definitions, but there's 4 additions that we've added to the priority 1, which is continuous snowfall event. Snow plowing and sanding will take place throughout, completed at best efforts. It also includes the snow route downtown. And as part of the sidewalks will have during a continuous snowfall event at best efforts, where before it was just by 8 p.m. 7 days a week. And again, for a single snow event, when it comes to continuous snowfall, to be piled and removed at best efforts. So that also is for continuous snow event. Also, as part of the adoption of having a contractor or other complete the weekend snow removal from Happy Trails, that has also been added to the priority 2, which states weekday, weekend, and statutory holiday snow removal will be completed. There were no changes to priority 1 or 2 snow routes. Do you have any questions?
Councillor Barton.
Thank you, Mayor. I think this is great. We're growing a good snow and ice policy for our community. And the one thing that you don't necessarily have to address in this particular policy, I guess, but something I brought up with Chris earlier today is that just recently at a conference, I was talking to somebody, and it just happened to be from Milwaukee, and a lot of their ice and snow removal products that they have out there now are all battery operated, but they're also responding to noise bylaws based on backpack blowers. So that's something that I think we should consider as a council and as administration just moving forward, right? Because it's I happen to be in the downtown area where I live, and I often hear them depending on when they're out there, but it could be 4 o'clock in the morning. And I'm used to it, but I'm sure there's lots of people that are aware of it. I will forward the contact information that I got from Milwaukee to Chris, and you guys can do whatever you want with it, but it's might be something to look into because lots of communities are going that direction. And then kind of it's also giving direction to contractors that are working in condo complexes and all that kind of stuff. So anyways, food for thought.
Thank you. Yes, that was something that we did modify too, where we would typically pile our snow over behind Burkhart's. And so we've made some adjustments to our timing, and then we've also opened up 4 acres as an alternate location for early times where we're running our snow plows and dumping snow for later clearing.
Good. Thanks for considering that.
Councillor Walsh.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thanks for all that you bring to us today. In Priority 2 route, you make reference to all town facility parking lots and servicing routes. Some of the downtown lots are gravel, therefore clearing them is a challenge. What is the maintenance practice around that? I asked specifically about the town parking lot on the corner of First Street Southwest and 6th Avenue. It's a gravel lot, and through the winter months this year we had snowfall, melt, freeze, melt, freeze. I saw the lot vacant on many occasions because it's deadly to walk across the lot. The lot could see I guess more gravel, so that I just don't know what clearing would look like. It does make reference to maintaining it. That's why I'm asking today on that note. Otherwise, the only conversation or that's brought up or question that comes up repeatedly is clearing main routes with large equipment, graders, like that kind of thing. No changes to that, staying with our the main arterial route, etc., right? I'm stating or asking the question just for those that might be listening or watching, knowing that our practices differ from places and we don't clear every single street.
Yes, thank you. And we can definitely take a look at that parking lot. I know a lot of the freeze thaw required us to go out and do just sanding, and that sand was either at times it was just gravel or it was hot mix, so it was mixed with salt. What we were finding with the freeze thaws that continuously happened was that we were putting a lot of product down and then it would melt through and then we'd have to do it again. And so with that, that's why we've started street sweeping so early and getting downtown cleaned up, because there's a lot of product on the ground and getting ahead of it before street sweeping. But in parking lots, we found that to be a real struggle this year with the freeze thaw, staying on top of it.
Yeah, without any gravel product added to that surface, it's going to stay the same. The gravel is probably 3 inches deep around the perimeter, and you have potholes that are just hard dirt ground, no surface whatsoever. That alone, I think, would improve the situation because clearing is a challenge.
Okay, we will definitely take that into consideration. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Nicole. No further questions, so I'll ask for a motion from Councillor Kinghorn that Council adopt the updated snow and ice control policy POL 0047 dated March 7th, 2025.
Thank you, Mayor Snodgrass. You have the motion, even though I'm not even thinking about snow today.
All in favor? Carried. It's the last snow and ice control policy you'll have to do. Community art policy update, Chris.
Thanks, Mayor Snodgrass. Before Council today is an updated community art policy that has brought it more in alignment with our actual practice. and created more of a framework to guide administration when dealing with community art proposals. Within the policy, you'll see improved definitions that integrates certain definitions like tree art that Council approved last fall through CVAC, as well as a process of how to acquire community art and use some of the funding that we do have within our restricted reserve accounts. It also documents the maintenance of the downtown murals. We've got lots of requests from the past from residents about repainting them, and this outlines the fact that they'll be renewed, but they may be different art when they are actually renewed. And a different approach too is taking a look at using vinyls versus painting directly onto buildings. So it outlines those responsibilities and those roles. Within the policy, it is intended to create that vibrancy, ironically, within all our public spaces, within all our public parks, within downtown, and to make sure that it is consistent with kind of the character of the community, represents our history and our cultural diversity, as well as promotes that inclusivity. It's not intended to be kind of a hatred kind of approach or have political positioning based upon that art as well. It's supposed to be something that reflects the community and shares what we want to see within the community looking forward. Within the recommendation, Council has 3 options to consider, or actually 4 options to consider. 1, adopt the policy as presented and have a community art policy presented to the public. 1, not to proceed and keep the existing public art policy in place. Refer this on to the next COW meeting in April and rescind the current policy, or to keep the proposed recommendation and just move forward with both policies to the upcoming COW meeting. And that's the rationale for the recommendation.
Thanks, Chris. Any questions? Councillor Jones.
Thank you, Mayor Snodgrass. So would something like the tree art come just directly to council rather than go someplace like CVAC?
That is the intent now. The intent, as we understood it and took some direction from what we heard from council and talked it through with our parks supervisor as well, is that as we start taking some of these trees that are dying out, that having it through the community art policy was probably the more appropriate location to have it funded and have it coming directly to council from that perspective, and to support that initiative if we're going to continue with the tree art program.
Okay, thank you.
Councillor Kinghorn.
Thank you, Mayor Snodgrass. I guess I'm a little concerned about art policies, and every time I drive past the blue ring, I wonder how the heck did that happen? Under this policy, is these projects going to come back to council to review and make sure that we don't end up with, I don't know, a blue square or something? I don't know.
I can't speak for the subjectivity and the art taste of future councils, but certainly the intent is that the policy clearly outlines that council will be the final decision making of all art choices based upon the presentation from either staff as a community acquisition or from a community group that's going to be initiating a community art.
Thanks, Chris. I'll ask for a motion from Councillor Walsh that Council adopt the Community Art Policy POL 0105 as presented, and that Council rescind Public Art Policy POL 06-10100.
You have my motion, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. All in favor? Carried. Decorative crosswalk intersection policy. Chris.
Thank you, Mayor Snodgrass. Before council today is a new policy for decorative crosswalks and intersections. This is in response to council's direction last spring when the Pride crosswalk was painted on 5th Avenue. And we created this draft policy that council reviewed in the fall. We felt it was time as spring is approaching to bring this forward again. It outlines the process that's undertaken within that decorative crosswalk or intersection that transfers all the responsibility back to any community group to maintain, install, and we would support with providing barriers and road closures. There is an option within the policy too that allows them to pay fully directly to us and we would install it. but that would be at the discretion of council when it was considering a proposal at that point. So the policy outlines the program. We did exclude this directly from the community art policy because we felt it was more customizable for that specific purpose, and it needed its own policy, and we wanted to follow council's direction as well. So the council has the same kind of similar options before you. One, to continue with the recommendation as presented and adopt the decorative crosswalk policy as presented, refer it to council or committee of the whole at the next committee of the whole meeting, or to defeat the resolution and just deal with decorative crosswalks on a case-by-case basis. That's the rationale for the recommendation. Mayor Snodgrass.
Thanks, Chris. Any questions? Councillor Walsh.
Thank you. Thank you. This is a welcome addition. I really like the addition into the policy where you've said that it's an option for a group to employ the services of the town so that it's properly installed. It was a question looming in my mind as to how would the town services and equipment be brought into a community project. So it's nice to see that there's an opportunity to reimburse the cost of the town applying that. I think that working together like that, it lays the ground for the best outcome where we have community projects that have a bit of time behind them because they all wear out. So I'm in favor of it.
No further questions. I'll ask for a motion from Councillor Barton that council adopt the decorative crosswalk and intersection policy POL 0106.
You have my motion, Mayor?
Thank you. All in favor? Carried. Circular materials recycling. Nicole?
Hello, everybody. What you have before you is a request for a resolution regarding the execution of Phase 1 for the Extended Producer Responsibility Program being facilitated by Circular Materials. I wanted to provide a short background first on how we got here today. So on November 30th, 2022, EPR, Extended Producer Responsibility, began working with communities such as High River to gather information on existing recycling programs. From December 23rd through December 24th, 2024, administration began working on an initiative called the Extended Producer Responsibility. EPR shifts the physical and financial burden of collecting, sorting, processing, and recycling waste back to the producer and away from local governments and taxpayers. Alberta's new EPR framework will diversify the town's economy by encouraging companies to find innovative ways to recycle more materials and produce less waste, thereby reducing the amount of recycling. Circular Materials is closely tied to the Alberta's new EPR framework. In Alberta, Circular Materials is the producer responsibility organization who is tasked with supporting the implementation and managing of the new EPR recycling system. So where we are today is the town provides town residents with a recycling depot that has been able to meet the needs of the town residents over the years. Although in the past 9 months, we have begun to see a strain on the depot. During this time, there have been many days whereby our hauling company would replace a full bin only to return and find that empty bin that they replaced full again. So since January 1st of this year, the depot has had to close 4 times, either for a few hours or for up to 2 days, in order to catch up with the required logistics necessary to stay ahead of the demand. In 2024, the town's recycling depot processed over 1,000 tons of recyclable materials ranging from cardboard to small batteries, styrofoam, and metal, while spending approximately $118,000 to run our facility. The EPR program puts the onus back on the producers of the materials that ends up in our depot by making them accountable through taking on the costs that towns like High River face when supporting a recycling depot. The province of Alberta will transition this framework beginning on April 1st, 2025, and will be fully operational by October 1st, 2026. This system aims to improve recycling rates, advance circular economy, and ensure that materials are collected, recycled, and reused into new products. If Phase 1 is approved by Council, which means the execution of the MSA, administration will begin working in conjunction with communications to provide an update on educational strategy rollout plan. Phase 1 will last approximately 17 months. And during this time, Circular Materials will compensate the recycling depot $7,921 per month, along with the provision of $1 per household per year for educational purposes. Through Phase 1 of this program, we will continue to support residential recycling needs, just as we have been, which continue to grow as the town develops and attracts new residents while preparing for curbside pickup starting on October 1st, 2026. That would be Phase 2. So the EPR program will support the town by funding the procurement of 1 blue bin per household, along with contracted services. Circular Materials will be contracting directly with that service provider and funding the service for the residents of High River in Phase 2 of the program, which, as mentioned, starts on October 1st, 2026, to collect all the bins. Once the curbside collection program begins, the town can adapt the recycling depot to better fit the needs of the residents who either have oversized recycling products or those residents who do not have access to blue bins due to their condo residence or other accommodations. The town will continue to provide recycling for items that cannot be processed through this curbside program, such as styrofoam and clear glass. Circular Materials will contribute a reduced monthly compensation for recycling depot operations. Now that's the only unforeseen that we don't know, is because we don't know exactly what our recycling depot is going to require when we do move to curbside. But moving to curbside collection reduces the strain on the current recycling depot. It provides a single stream of source material, freeing up personal time that no longer needs to be sorted at our recycling depot. So this is in benefit of the residents. Curbside collection encourages those residents who don't currently use our recycling depot to recycle at home, and thereby freeing up space in their garbage bins and sending less recyclables to the Foothills landfill. So starting with education and a long lead time, the town can support residents in a meaningful way through engagement at public forums, literature, the town website, and public service announcements. The entire town will benefit through the support from EPR and Circular Materials by providing residents another mean for recycling and helping our community become more environmentally aware and responsible by sending less recycled product. Oh, right at the end. By sending less recyclable products to the landfill. I open it up for questions.
Thanks, Nicole. Councillor Kinghorn.
Thanks, Mayor Snodgrass. Kind of excited to hear about blue bins in High River. But my question is more around the recycling depot, and I've read online and I've talked to people that, do we keep track, and I know I've never been asked, but do we have any way of keeping track of who's actually using that facility? Is it High River residents? Is it county residents? Is it, who is it? Who are the people that are going in there? Because I've been there and I know those bins are full most of the time.
Yeah, you'll see we've come up with a different strategy. So you'll see that our green bins are actually blocked now, encouraging residents to use the compactor, because that's our highest product that we're recycling is cardboard, and it takes up a lot of space. So we are not keeping track. We have asked, here and there. We do have a lot of commercial folks that use our recycling depot in town, but they also do pay a rate to use the recycling depot. There have been some other folks outside of the county, because we have a share use agreement with the county. So other towns like Okotoks that do come in because their recycling depot is closed on Sundays and Mondays. And so that can lean into why we're so busy now.
Okay, that's interesting because when I have had to use the landfill out there, I get asked every time, where are you from? And I'm sure they're recording that somewhere, so maybe we should look at that.
We
Thank
do
you.
have something coming when our public works seasonals do start, to have a couple of days here and there where we do have those questions, especially on the weekends. If we do find that, you know, folks that are coming in outside of the county to use the facility.
Councillor Walsh.
Thank you, Mayor Snodgrass. And thank you very much. This is, as Councillor Kinghorn said, it's a very welcome conversation. The first question I have is about the transfer services. Outlined that, if I'm reading it correctly, the contractor is not providing the transfer services, meaning that the town will still have to move it off-site? Did I misread that?
So our contractor that is currently moving our recycling to Cascades, it will continue, yes, until October 1st, 2026. At that point, there still remains some things to be seen as we move forward into phase 2. And so I'll be working closely with Circular Materials to learn more about what that looks like, how much compensation will be still given to the recycling depot to process. Because our contractor is being secured until the end of September next year, I might speculate that they're going to have their own company come in and pick up the material. But that still remains to be seen. I have to learn more.
Thank you. Also, we currently have quite a generous bin at residential places. I assume from what I've seen in other communities that the black bin will be smaller. Is there a change?
Or what if we switch to bi-weekly pickup?
Okay.
Yeah, because
I'm just curious about how that's going to change.
Yes, the black bins, because of their size and the cost of them to dispose of, maybe it could be a program whereby when a larger black bin does need to be replaced, then we start replacing it with a smaller bin. But there are some towns and cities that are doing bi-weekly garbage pickup, and as people are recycling more, they won't need the bins as much for garbage itself. Yes.
Thank you.
Thanks, Nicole. I'll ask for a motion from Councillor Jones that Council authorize the Phase 1 Circular Materials Master Services Agreement, MSA, for services related to single-use products, packaging, and paper services, which is in effect as early as April 1st, 2025 through September 30th, 2026, and that Council authorizes Mayor and CAO to execute the Circular Materials Master Services Agreement.
I'll give you that motion, Mayor Snodgrass.
Yep. All in favor? Carried. Thanks, Nicole.
Thank you.
Councillor board and committee reports, anything? Quiet couple weeks. See none, hear none. Public comment section, anything from the public? Nothing. This time I'll ask for a motion from Councillor Nychuk. The council recess the regular council meeting on March 24th at 3:53 p.m. and move into a closed meeting.
I'll give you that motion, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. All in favor? Carried.